The next thing that I want to discuss really quick is basically let's go back to Palace 1, the entrance to Palace 1. The next thing I want to discuss is that there are 63 rooms per area. Basically, if you go to Palace 0, and then Palace 0 will go, room 0 goes to 62. That's the last room in Palace 5, and that's 0 to 62, which makes up 63 rooms. And all of these 63 rooms can be connected to make one big palace if you want to. But understanding that there's 63 rooms for Palace 1, 2, and 5, there's 63 rooms for Palace 2, 3, 4, and 6 is important. It's good information, it's basic information, but it's good to understand that, and it's good to think about that in a sense of how you want to do it, how you want to make your palace. Because you can make a palace that's one room, and then you can make a palace that's 5 rooms, and then you can compile the rest of the rooms together and make a full size, huge palace. So you can make different varying sizes of palaces as long as they fit within the structure of those 63 rooms. The next thing that I want to discuss, going back to clone rooms, or what I always have called them repeating rooms, is that these things exist throughout the entire game, not just in palaces, but in the entire game. And you have to understand that when you are actually making a hack, that it is very important. Like for me, I have a workflow. I like to write things down. I like to draw things out. I like to plan before I just try to execute, because I feel like it's everything will be everywhere. You may want to just try things out and see where it goes, and not really care to draw things down or plan things out. That's fine. That's up to you. That's not how I do it, but that's up to you. The important thing here is that when you that there's only so much room to in a bank. You can't just say, well, what if I make a what if I take this room, change this room, and make this room what I classify as a unique room. So everything, now moving this around, I go here and I hit copy. So now leaving all the other rooms as is, but only changing this room. So I can make a unique entrance here, a unique room. But you only have so much room. You only have so much room in the bank. You can't just make 63 unique rooms. The game just doesn't really work that way. You have to be aware of how to save space and to reuse rooms. There, you are going to make the hack. If you are going to make the hack, you have to understand that there are repeated rooms and how those repeated rooms move within your game. If you have a room, well, let's cancel this and go to this room. This room, if we go to change something in this room, just so we can bring up how many rooms this is in. This is Palace 1, room 1, but it's also Palace 15. Palace 2, room 15. Palace 5, room 14. Palace 5, room 42. That means that this room is used 4 times to varying degrees. And if you change this room, it will change in every room. Obviously, you'll notice in this room that there's keys and there's doors. Those work on a different like a different layer, so to speak. So enemies work on a different layer, so to speak. Understanding that when you make a change, that this change will affect every room. If you hit clone, if you don't and you hit copy, you are making it a unique room, but that unique room takes up space. It creates other things. So the more you keep the clone rooms the same, the easier it will be to make more changes and add pieces and do things that are going to make your game also be better. So I For example, in Winter Solstice, I did do this, but I did create unique rooms, more unique rooms than the original game. But I really planned everything out with, at first, with all of the clone rooms, and tried to make things work with the clone rooms before I went so far as to start making clone rooms to give me an elevator that goes up left instead of this one going up right. Um, so it's important to really plan everything out. I think this is going to go on for too long, to be quite honest, but I'm trying to keep it tight, but I don't think it will be. So that's something to consider when we're talking about clone rooms and unique rooms. Going back to the first room, the next thing that I want to discuss is I just want to give you a little bit more of an understanding of rooms, and then I'm going to go into connections, elevators, connections and elevators. So basically, like I said, you have a lot of things here, and these things are very, to some varying degree, are very self-explanatory. To some varying degree, are not. Of course, you should just fool around with it, but this will add ceiling. These things are very self-explanatory. If you raise it, these things will change different tile sets. Obviously, some of these things are not things that you really want to do, and some of them you do. Some of them you might want to fool around with. If you do this, you'll raise the floor. But there's just a lot to take in when you're looking at this. And again, there's connections, there's enemies, there's item availability, there's swap. There's a lot of things going on.